Alright guys, it's BO2 and welcome back to another Black Ops 2 gameplay commentary. Now the commentary for this gameplay, it's a controversial subject, and it's something which I know a lot of you guys have been thinking, particularly those that follow the gameplay clique of YouTubers on YouTube, which is something that I would class myself as. I'm a massive fan of all these gameplay guys that post these amazing gameplays that you see day in, day out all over YouTube. They're the sort of guys that I aspire to to be in terms of the gameplay, and they're just the sort of YouTube content that I enjoy watching. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me personally, it's the sort of thing that I enjoy. And the topic is something which I know has been on everyone's lips. It seems ever since Black Ops 2. It's something which hasn't really been it's not really been apparent. If you look at like Modern Warfare, ever since back from like Modern Warfare 2 and things, and then Modern Warfare 3 when people were getting mobs, it's not something which was brought up a lot. Although it might have been thought, it was much more of a private thing, which people thought personally to themselves, but didn't really want to bring it out into the open. But my God, as soon as Black Ops 2 dropped, on every massive gameplay gameplay video, the first two things that you can expect to see in the comment section is something to do with gameplay boosting, which is not something I'm going to be discussing in this commentary. It might be something I discuss in a further future commentary, but not something I'm going to bring up in this. But the next one, no doubt, is what the console is. And like for me personally, I must get this off my chest straight from the start. No, I do not own a PlayStation 3, nor have I played Black Ops 2 on the PlayStation 3. It's something that I will be doing, and it's something that I want to investigate for myself. And so you're probably thinking, well, how am I giving an opinion and hoping to achieve some sort of justification, some sort of weight on anything that is I'm going to say, if I'm not myself, like me personally, haven't even played the game? And that's something that I must hold my hands up to. And if you're willing to just give me a chance to explain my views on this, then I really would appreciate it. If you're not, then by all means, I'm not offended. It's something which I would bring up as a massive flaw in anyone's argument, is if they don't themselves walk the walk on the things that they talk. So I understand that. I completely understand that. But anything that I'm going to say is purely based on my friends that have owned the PlayStation 3 or still own the PlayStation 3 and have played the game religiously, or mainly due to observation. And I can't stress enough how much of a nerd I am when it comes to watching guys on YouTube. And when I say that I watch a lot of YouTube, believe me, I watch a lot. The people that know me closely would vouch for that. I am a massive nerd when it comes to watching people on YouTube. So that's the only sort of justification I have for presenting you with the thoughts and my views with regards to the whole Xbox versus PS3 debate. So with that being said, I think I'll just delve right into it. So in terms of gameplay, right, gameplay standards. At the minute, it seems like the 200 plus is the golden standard for YouTube when it comes to getting gameplays on Black Ops 2, and to me personally, it's no surprise that the majority of these 200 pluses have been on the PlayStation 3. I think there's only Ben Essential which is sort of flying the flag for the Xbox guys, and it's just I've noticed, and it's just a common theme. It seems that a lot of guys which are from the Xbox camp, high gameplay guys, which are, you know, a good source for gameplays, have gone over to PlayStation 3, and it's of no surprise that they're willing to able to get the high scoring gameplays over on PlayStation 3, and may I add, at a more consistent rate. And it's also something which I've noticed that a lot of the guys which have done this have also brought up the observation that to them they feel it's much easier to get the gameplays on the PlayStation 3 as opposed to the Xbox. And this is the key word that I want you to take from this. Is like the operative word I want you to take from this commentary. Is the thing that I want you to take is, for me, from what I've observed and what I've been told, is the Xbox is more difficult to get these gameplays. It's a much more difficult console to get gameplays on as opposed to the PlayStation 3, which is easier. Now, you might be thinking, well, what does it mean by easy? And by easy, I pretty much mean there's less difficulties that you are faced with when playing on the PlayStation 3, should I say, than you are playing on the Xbox. I mean, dashboarding is just rife all over the Xbox. I've been told that the connection on the PlayStation 3 is better, which, to be honest, I'm quite surprised at. But from my reasoning behind that is, for all throughout Modern Warfare 3, it seemed a lot of people had connection issues with that game on the PlayStation 3 as opposed to the Xbox. So a lot of people are saying the connection's much better, And I seem to think that the PlayStation 3 is a much more casual gamers console as opposed to the Xbox. It seems like a lot of people sweat really, really hard on the Xbox, and this is the only reason I can give to this. The only sort of explanation I can give to this is it's just down to numbers. It seems like a lot more people play it on the Black Ops 2 or over on the PlayStation 3 than they do on the Xbox. I wish I had the actual numbers in front of me. It's a bit of a schoolboy error right there, but it's a lot more players playing on that. So as a result of that, you're going to come across a lot more casual players, and it's just as a result of that, as a consequence of that, you're going to run into lobbies with noobs much more easily than you are on the Xbox. It's just a simple case of probability. You're in the position to come across players who aren't that talented. Again, hear me out, I'll explain. Who aren't that talented more often than you are if you were to play on the Xbox 360. But that's not to say, again guys, it's not to say that I'm saying that people on the PlayStation 3 are shit. Far from it. There are people that play on the PlayStation 3, the people that some have come over to the Xbox sometimes, like for example Ronaldinho, he's an amazing player. There are people that play on the PlayStation 3 and they are fantastic players in their own right, but all I'm saying is, for me, from what I've observed, it's easier to get the gameplays over on the PlayStation 3 than it is on the Xbox 360. I mean, no one is coming over from the PlayStation 3 to the Xbox for the gameplay. But what you are noticing is a lot of guys are going over from Xbox to the PlayStation 3 purely for the gameplay, and they're succeeding on a consistent basis. And it's like, I can only imagine the only reason that anyone from the PS3 would want to come over to the Xbox is either to play with the subscribers, because I can assume that the majority of people on YouTube play the Xbox. Don't hold me to that one, but that's just a brief assumption. But I can only imagine they want to come to the Xbox because of that aspect, to play with subscribers of a different console, as well as just the interface on Xbox 360. The interface on the PS3, the PSN it's wank in comparison to the Xbox. So it's just an observation. There's a lot more guys on the PS3 getting the gameplays on a far more consistent, more frequent basis, and I can only deduct that the reason behind this is, again, given the laws of probability. You're more likely to come up against lobbies with easier players than you are if you were on the Xbox 360. And what does this mean? Well, what this means to me is, as a consequence of this, the gameplays which you're seeing on a consistent basis from these PS3 guys, the question you need to ask yourselves, and it's something I've been asking myself a lot, is what does this do to diminish the quality and the skill of a guy getting a gameplay on the PS3 and compared to a guy getting a similar gameplay on the Xbox? And I can't help but think that seeing the gameplay on a PS3 and an equal gameplay on the Xbox, I can't help but think that for me, the guy who got the gameplay on the Xbox 360 is more warranted of appreciation, and that's the real debate. That's a really touchy subject, because a lot of guys that are getting the gameplay over on the PS3, and I find that a lot of these guys are from the Xbox camp who have gone over to PS3, are getting the amazing gameplays and are trying to defend the gameplay whilst it's on the PS3. Are they doing it just to save face? You know what I mean? It's like, why not just be patient and try to get the gameplay over in the Xbox 360? Because me personally, I'd rather see the Xbox 360 gameplay over a PlayStation 3 gameplay any day. And if you look at the guys at the top who are basically getting these gameplays on a consistent basis, for example, Amp Clan, what ratio of these guys are Xbox only? And I mean Xbox only, not Xbox that have gone to PS3, but Xbox only guys. You know, it's just PS3 it seems to be around everywhere now, and I don't know. I just want to know what you guys think, because I know it's a very touchy subject. You could argue a lot of PS3 guys get very, very angry about people making remarks and discrediting the gameplay, discrediting the fact that it's on the PlayStation 3 console as opposed to the Xbox 360 console. But if you really do consider some of the stuff that I've thought and I've brought to you guys in this commentary, like, what are your views on that? Because again, I'm not saying I don't think that the common consensus is that we are all saying that PS3 players are shit. Rather, it's just a case of frequency and likelihood and probability. It's all a case of probability at the end of the day, ladies and gents. And if you are more likely to get into a lobby where there are people that play with their elbows, or the feet, or the faces, or anything other than the hands, then does that not, in all honesty, does that not make that console easier to play than a console which that isn't a common likelihood? And to me, I find the PlayStation 3 an easier console over the Xbox 360 when it comes to Black Ops 2 gameplays. And I'll be interested to find out what you guys think, because, like I said, I know it's a very touchy subject, but within the gameplay clique, within the gameplay camp of videos, content makers and things, it's something which is definitely most prominent on everyone's lips whenever you see these gameplays. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. I really would appreciate it if you give me some feedback, as well as just give me some response with some of the ideas that I brought up in this commentary itself. And I really do look forward to reading them all. So thanks for watching the gameplay commentary, guys. The gameplay in the background, it's nothing special whatsoever. This was one of the gameplays on my road to 100 plus gameplay, and as you probably saw, I died. I think I was on a 25 gun streak. I died very close to my next set of score streak by my swarm, which is just there you go, whatever. So anyway, thanks for watching the gameplay commentary, guys. All the best, take care, and peace.
And I regretted the time I wasted in things that did not matter.